Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. What is the great American joke? According to literary scholar Lewis Rubin Jr., it's the constant gap between American ideals and American realities, and it pervades all of American satire from Mark Twain to Kurt Vonnegut to Richard Pryor to our contemporary times. As he writes, there's an incongruity between American rhetoric and American practices, between mundane circumstance and heroic ideal, material fact and spiritual hunger, theory of equality and fact of social and economic inequality, between what people would be and must be. Satire, at its best, has always revealed these incongruities. It cuts through the noise, explodes the hypocrisy of our institutions, and offers nuanced perspectives into heated social and political debates. So why do animated cartoons excel in satire? Ever since The Simpsons premiered in 1989, any long-held belief that animated cartoons were solely for children was shattered. And now, in 2017, animated satires are some of the most critically acclaimed television we have. A lot of it has to do with the medium itself. One of the satirist's central tools has always been exaggeration, and visual exaggeration is a staple of animation. A show could have models appear paper-thin to satirize American standards of beauty, or maybe someone could come out as gay to their family in front of an entire football stadium to satirize the absurd process of revealing your sexuality in America.
If your dad can't accept you for who you are, then you don't need him in your life.
Yeah! Get him out of your life!
Indeed, the sheer scale of animation allows it to satirize anything. Live action is typically limited to a home, or a bar, or a studio, but animation can go anywhere it wants. In the recent hit Rick and Morty, a giant all-powerful head comes to Earth and forces Earth's residents to compete in a universe-scale music competition.
Show me what you got!
While the episode satirizes all kinds of societal issues, it especially satirizes our discussions around God.
The old gods are dead. All previous existing religions. All hail the one true God, the giant head in the sky.
The Simpsons and South Park similarly play with these large-scale capabilities. It is not uncommon to see an episode jump from a family home, to a government office, to a bar, to downtown businesses, and back home again. As writer Kurt Koenigsberger notes of The Simpsons, the plastic limits of Springfield circumscribe American social relations in their entirety.
We're lucky enough that we've created a show where it's not about a family or a kid, it's about a town. And so it really does lend itself very well to say, you know, we can sit down in the writer's room and go, what's going on in the world? Yeah. How do we have that happen in South Park?
Few live-action shows are capable of pulling off commentary on this scale. The only one that comes to mind is not even a satire. But perhaps the most nuanced advantage of the medium is its ability to disarm us. We've been conditioned to accept cartoons as a non-threatening form of communication. Many people grew up on cartoons and associate them with innocence. Their bright colors and silliness, as BoJack Horseman creator Raphael Bob Waxberg points out, encourage us to lower our guard. For one reason or another, we give them permission to hit us with the harsh realities, a spoonful of sugar that helps the satire go down.
Well, that's horrible. Why would you tell me that now?
But there's one particular element of animation that really sets it apart from live-action television. Its ability to use kids as vehicles for satire. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, the creators of South Park, have long said that if their main characters weren't children, the content of their show would be impossible.
We used to talk about All in the Family, and we were big fans of All in the Family, and in the time of the early 90s, we were kind of sitting there going, you know, a show like that couldn't be on the air right now. You couldn't do it, because things are so PC. You couldn't have an Archie Bunker. And we used to talk about how, you know, if Archie Bunker was 8 years old, I bet you could do it.
It makes sense. Kids seem to get a pass for being ignorant and politically incorrect, which allows them to comment on the status quo more freely. And they're also automatically anti-authority. As founder of The Onion, Scott Dickers writes, "The best targets of satire are usually the comfortable, the status quo, and entrenched power or any authority, no matter how low level. Children's innocence and powerlessness can always be juxtaposed against the ideologies of their parents, their schools, their country, and anything in between. In the Boondocks, Huey points out all kinds of flaws in the ideals of the black community. but no one will listen to him. In The Simpsons, Bart uses his catchphrase to subvert authority and unsettle notions of social order.
Eat my shorts.
All right, I'll eat your shorts.
Yeah, eat my shorts.
And in South Park, the children almost always have an episode ending "I've learned something today" monologue that directs criticism at the adults for creating and sustaining a crazy world full of dysfunction and hypocrisy.
But at least we showed him that sometimes joking about un-PC things can actually be important, because it starts a dialogue.
Indeed, by funneling their critiques through children, these shows can explore a middle ground on issues without coming off as too preachy. South Park practically functions on this idea. The kids are placed in the middle of two extremes and watch as both reveal their hypocrisies.
Hey, all you un-American bastards! If you don't like America, why don't you get out? The Founding Fathers would agree with our right to protest. Founding Fathers would kick all your asses! Boys, what do you think the Founding Fathers would say?
The faggy who?
Over the years, many critics have argued that these shows inevitably lead to nihilism in the public sphere, that making fun of everything results in a total disillusionment toward our institutions.
It's not my fault, it's society! Everything is because of society!
But I'm not convinced that's true. In a study on the interactions between fans of the show Daria, a show whose titular character is pretty cynical, researchers found a surprisingly optimistic fan culture who firmly believed in the possibility for change. In the case of BoJack Horseman, many fans say the show's borderline nihilism toward the system presents the tools to battle nihilism itself. Whether these shows lead to apathy in the public sphere, or whether they simply reflect a distrust in the public sphere and its idealistic discourse, is ultimately a tough question to answer. I don't think any 23-minute show presumes to teach us about any subject in full, but it can begin to suggest just how complex some of these issues really are. I don't think these shows say all mainstream positions are meaningless. They just attempt to give them a hard look and either try to refine them or provide nuanced perspectives on them. With a world now almost completely devoid of nuance, locked in a battle of extremes at all times, you might just want to turn on an animated satire. Because underneath all their snark, parody, and biting criticism, there's a hope for something better. Some new kind of truth that exists in the middle of the great American joke. Hey everyone, thank you so much for watching. I just want to talk about designing my new website with Squarespace. They have this really intuitive, easy to use platform that made the process painless for someone like me who hasn't written a line of code ever. They have award-winning designer templates, they do domains, they have 24/7 customer service. It really is an all-in-one platform where you can build a good-looking website. I'm really happy with it. You can start your free trial today. Go to squarespace.com/willscoder to get 10% off your first purchase. Thanks everyone. I'll see you again soon.